Hey, how's it going? Aaron here with Biscuits by Daddy-O, coming at you today to show you how to make our gluten-free cinnamon biscuits. This is actually one of the first products we ever released along with our regular gluten-free biscuits. These are some of the most mouth-watering dessert type biscuits you will eat. I'm really excited to show you today how to make them, so let's dive in. All right, so first things first, you want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees just like our regular biscuits, so go ahead and get that prepping now. All right, so there's a few things that you will have to prep in the beginning before you actually begin making your biscuits. So these biscuits have really two different components to them. The first is a brown sugar butter mixture that we're going to make together. And then the second is the vanilla topping that you'll actually put on these biscuits once they come out of the oven. So first things first, let's dive into how to make the brown sugar topping. So the first step is you will melt 2 tablespoons of butter. You need to get this ready and let this start melting before you move on to the next step. All right, next step is to dump your mix into a mixing bowl. You're gonna get it all out as much as you can. All right, next you will pull your melted butter out of the oven or the microwave, add it to a smaller bowl if it wasn't already in a small bowl, where you can add your brown sugar and 3 tablespoons of mix. So the first step is you wanna actually take a tablespoon and dip it into the mix that you added to your bigger mixing bowl, and you just wanna take that, level it off, and you're gonna add 3 of these to the melted butter initially. So we're gonna do 1. All right, next you want to lightly pack a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar. Once you've done that, you'll add that to the bowl. And then from there, once you've added these ingredients, you just wanna mix that together, get it all combined. All right, so once you've combined that, you can set that aside and we'll move on to the next step. All right, next we're going to prep our vanilla topping for these biscuits. This is actually just 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, so you want to add that to a mixing bowl. Next, you want to add a few tablespoons of milk. Generally 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk are enough, and I actually don't have very much left in this. It's about 2 to 3 tablespoons, so I'm just going to add this here now. And then you want to add a little bit of vanilla, roughly a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more. You know, sometimes we like to be generous with our vanilla, so really as much as you want to add. Once you have those ingredients in there, you just want to combine that as well. Get that good and mixed together. All right, so now that you have your mix in your mix bowl, this is actually just like our regular biscuits. You want to add 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream to this mix. Pour it in slowly and start combining. Mix it up and get it all combined together. All right, so once you've mixed that together, you want to move it to the surface that you're going to begin working on. You can actually just get some cooking spray, spray down whatever the surface is. If you also have any leftover mix in the bottom of your mix bag, you can put that on the counter. Any other gluten-free flour, just anything, because this dough is going to be a little bit sticky. And then we're going to move it to the surface and begin working it. You can also go ahead and spray your aluminum or stainless steel pan and get that ready to move these biscuits to. All right, so just like our regular biscuits, you don't want to really overwork this dough, but you do want to take it and kind of fold it over on itself just a few times, nothing major. Use your hands. One thing that we can't stress enough is it's always better to use hands when mixing and prepping biscuits. Do not use a rolling pin. Again, one of the secrets to a really thick, fluffy biscuit is having thick dough. It's not the only secret, but if you have really thin dough that you've rolled out with a rolling pin, your biscuits will not rise. And so you want to keep your dough really thick, at least 1 inch. So if you remember, from the tip of your pointer to your first knuckle, at least that size, if not a little bit bigger than that. And we're going to cut this dough out from here with this thickness. And remember, we use biscuit cutters to cut out our biscuits. You want to use a biscuit cutter that is roughly 2 to 2.5 inches in diameter here. We're going to use this one. This one's about 2.5 inches, and so we're going to go ahead and begin cutting this out and putting these on the pan. So there is another step after this. Make sure you don't go anywhere with this. Don't think that you're done, because after we cut these biscuits out, just like the other biscuits too, you're gonna have some dough here that you're gonna have to rework, reform, so you can get a few more biscuits. After this though, we're actually going to take a small teaspoon. Generally, if you have a nice round teaspoon, that works well. If you've got like a really small ice cream scoop, that works well as well. And we're actually going to scoop out the center of our biscuits here. We're gonna make a little round hole in each of these biscuits, and we're going to place our brown sugar butter mixture inside those holes. What's gonna actually happen here as well, as you remove this dough, you're gonna get a little bit of dough left, so you'll be able to make at least probably one more biscuit, maybe 2 more biscuits out of this. And so I'm not gonna do anything with this yet. We're gonna go ahead and scoop this out. You can see here, I'm just going to roll this on the top here and just scoop out a little piece of dough. Do this on all the biscuits you're able to make initially, creating the little hole in the middle of your biscuits. All right, so now we've got a little bit of dough left here. So we're gonna form at least one more biscuit. Yep, it's gonna be about one more biscuit. Place it here. So I think actually this biscuit cutter is a little bit bigger than 2.5 inches. As you'll see here, I've only made 7 biscuits out of this. So if you make sure you're using a 2 to 2.5, no bigger than 2.5 inch biscuit cutter, you will get the 8 to 10 biscuits out of our mixes. So don't worry about that. All right, from here, let's add our brown sugar mixture to the top of these biscuits. And it really is just as simple as using your same spoon and just adding it into each biscuit, just like this. You're probably gonna have a little bit left here, so feel free to go back and, add a little bit more if you would like to add a little bit more. Again, there's no right or wrong way to doing this. This is just how we like to do it, so feel free to get creative here and kind of do whatever you feel like. All right, that's it. We're gonna pop these in the oven, bake them for 10 to 12 minutes, give or take, depending on how hot your oven cooks. Just keep an eye on them for start getting brown, and then you'll wanna pop them out at that point. All right, let's check on our biscuits. I think they're about ready. All right, so we just took our cinnamon biscuits out of the oven. They're still hot. The last and final step is to actually take our vanilla topping mixture that we made, and you literally just pour this right on top of your cinnamon biscuits, just like this. Just a little bit for each biscuit, and then when you get to the end, you can always come back and add more to each biscuit. But this is our cinnamon biscuit, gluten-free, our gluten-free cinnamon biscuit. They are delicious. Eat them while they're warm as well. Share them with a friend, share them with your family. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. We love these biscuits. We think you're gonna love these biscuits. We can't wait to hear what you think. Aaron Blevins here with Biscuits by Daddy-O. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next video. It's still very hot. Oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that. Cinnamon, sugar's falling off the top. It's delicious. Mm-mm.